Welcome to the Gladiator Guide, a show where I take a combat sports fighter and I give them an overall rating based on 5 career indicators, with the 5 being strength of resume, professional record, style effectiveness, damage taken, and career milestones. These 5 career indicators will help me judge the fighters overall as a collective. I will give each category a rating out of 20 overall, and once I've completed each one, the totals will be added together, ultimately to reveal said fighter's overall out of 100. To achieve this, I'll be walking you through the fighter's career, grading it as we go. After all of that's been completed, I'll add the fighter to the Gladiator game. Now that you're all caught up, if you enjoy the content, it'd mean a lot if you subscribed and dropped a like. I'm passionate about this channel, so the quality of my content will only go up from here. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get to the Gladiator Guide. Israel Adesanya has a unique upbringing in the martial arts compared to most UFC fighters. Instead of simply starting in amateur MMA, Stylebender began his combat sports journey in kickboxing, where he developed his iconic style over a 79-fight-long career. Israel amassed 75 wins and only lost 4 times in his entire career. Following his legendary run in kickboxing, Adesanya would compete on the regional circuit in an amateur bout against Neroni Savanea, and he'd come up short, getting out-grappled to a unanimous decision loss. After 3 years of working his MMA game, Israel would give this MMA thing another try, going 11-0 with all finishes before getting his call to the UFC. Once he arrived on the big stage, he continued his undefeated run with wins over Rob Wilkinson, the current PFL 185-pound champion, Marvin Vettori, Brad Tavares, Derek Brunson, Anderson Silva, and Kelvin Gastelum, improving his record to 17-0 in a fight that earned him Fight of the Night honors and interim gold. His next shot at earning gold would come against Robert Whittaker at UFC 243 in a 60,000-seat arena that was sold out. The last Stylebender would unify the titles in spectacular fashion, knocking out the champion in the second round with a highlight for the ages. His first defense as champion would come against Yoel Romero, winning an all-time barn burner unanimous decision over the Soldier of God. Following the lackluster performance, Izzy would yet again shock the world by taking Paulo Costa's O by second-round knockout in a barn burner, where the champion completely froze the Terminator Bohachinha. On the backs of 2 title defenses and a perfect 20-0 record, Adesanya would chase double champ status against Jan Blachowicz at UFC 259. This would serve as the first loss in MMA for the 185-pound champion, and to some fighters as a blueprint to how to beat Stylebender. Now moving back to the division he rules over, Israel would defend his title 3 more times with 2 back-to-back rematches against Marvin Vettori and Robert Whittaker, both serving as unanimous decision wins for the champion. His third and final consecutive title defense following the super fight loss would be over the Killer Gorilla Jared Cannonier, again by unanimous decision. Now sitting at 5 title defenses with fresh blood in the division, Adesanya would have to come face-to-face with the only man to ever knock him out cold, Alex Poatan Pereira. UFC 281 would serve as the event in which the combat sports trilogy would take place, and history would once again repeat itself as Poatan would come back and TKO the champion in the 5th round of a fight that he was losing 3 rounds to 1. Now with his back against the wall and everything to lose, Israel would agree to a rubber match with the champion, who was now 3-0 against him in combat sports. In historic fashion, Adesanya would knock his rival out cold in the 2nd round, reclaiming the throne and becoming the 2-time middleweight champion. Israel could retire this minute and still go down as one of the greatest fighters to ever do it. Now with all this fighter lore out of the way, let's go over to the stat board. Starting with the easiest stat to score, professional record. Izzy's record in MMA is 24-2, and as mentioned before, his kickboxing record was 75-4. Both of these records on paper are insane, and that's without even getting into the names on his record. It's not perfect, but it's close to it, and for that, I'm going to give Izzy an 18 out of 20. Speaking of the names on Adesanya's resume, we've got the likes of 3 UFC champions, and Robert Whittaker twice, Alex Pereira, and Anderson Silva past his prime, as well as the laundry list of great contenders he's beaten that I listed earlier in the video. He's without a doubt building on a legendary streak of competition, but still has room to add to his legacy, so I'll give Israel a 19 out of 20 on a strength of resume. Now for the stat that Stylebender is named after, especially and without a doubt the easiest stat to rate. I lied earlier when I said it was record, and I apologize. 100%, I'm giving Stylebender a 20 out of 20. He has carved a legacy for himself with his style effectiveness. Next up, longevity. Across his combat sports career, he's only been knocked out once in boxing by Alex Pereira in their 2nd fight, and then TKO'd again by Pereira in the 3rd encounter.
Other than that, he's never been finished and only hurt a couple of times in the octagon. Israel's style leaves him taking little damage, and he's one of the most active fighters on the roster. For all of these reasons, I'll rate Izzy's longevity an 18 out of 20. And now the final stat, accolades. Israel is the two-time UFC middleweight champion, scoring 5 consecutive title defenses during his first run as champ. He has a brutal finish over the only man to send him to the Shadow Realm, avenging one of the 2 losses he's ever suffered. Israel could retire tomorrow and arguably still be considered the greatest middleweight GOAT. At this point, he just needs another belt to get a perfect score in my books, but for now, I'll give Izzy a 19 out of 20. And when we tally it all up, Izzy is sitting at a 94 overall Gladiator rank, a solid score, one of the highest in general that I've given, I think only topped by John Jones to this point. So it's extremely impressive. Israel Adesanya has already established himself as one of the greatest of all time in MMA and in combat sports history. Now we can put Izzy into the Gladiator game, and for those of you that have been watching this series on my channel, you'll probably recognize that I updated the Gladiator game character select screen. I just wanted it to look more modernized, and I think it looks sick now. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there real quick. Just before I close out this video, I wanted to say thank you guys for all the support on my recent video about the MMA Guru. It's really blown up my channel. I've gotten a lot of new subscribers, so shout out if you're new here. I promise to keep the content going and upgrading and just getting better and better and better. So stay tuned, because we're only, not even halfway through the year yet. So shit's only going to get better from here, I promise. Thank you all for the support. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. But I'm not going to waste any more of your time. This has been the Gladiator Guide, Israel Adesanya. I'll catch y'all with my next video. I love y'all.